Welcome everyone to the video, and today we are going to talk about my favorite mode and the best teams, the best factions in it, and that is Raid. Now, Raid is a mode that is very pay to win right now. However, you could still have fun playing Raid, do as many battles as you can, get as much silver and food as you can. This is what is going on. Let's talk about the best team for raids. That would be the greens. The greens are the meta. The greens are dominant. You cannot stop them. They are too fast. They are too strong. You have a new addition to the greens that has just come out, Kristen Cole. On our Discord server, join. The link is in the description. We have a data miner, and he has let us know that on Valentine's Day, Kristen Cole will be available in a green summon with Alicent. Now, the greens have the ability of Birthright. Now, Birthright becomes more effective the more greens you have, and Birthright affects crits, attacks, heals, everything. It's an amazing mechanic, and when you start off, they get 8 Birthright. But if you get the greens to 6-star, if you get them to 6-star, they will start with 10 Birthright. Now, every turn, 1 Birthright will go away. However, you will have characters like Alicent, who her special will critically heal and also gain 4 Birthright to characters. So she will replenish Birthright. That will go on. You cannot use Sunfire because Sunfire is a dragon in raids. So you will be able to use Kristen Cole, who will taunt when enemies are defeated. You will have Otto, who will grant 15% stamina to start the match. So they will begin the match at 90% stamina. This is a team that you could put on auto in raids and win. You have Aegon. Aegon will, every time stamina Birthright goes away, he's going to give all allies with Birthright more stamina. So he is going to get things going and pass along stamina. He also hits pretty hard. Aemond hits like a truck. Super powerful. Otto will also throw the defense down on enemies and hit them with a short AoE, small AoE. Kristen is going to taunt and hit people hard and do a lot of damage and gain defensive buffs. You have an all-around team. This is the best team in the game. Will they release the blacks to counter the greens? Only time will tell. But this is the best team in the game. Now let's talk about the best free-to-play raid team in the game. And we're going to talk about factions today. That would be the Stark faction. And the Stark faction relies upon Ice and Brittle. Now, Ice will reduce stamina so that it will take more turns for opponents to get their special. When someone becomes brittle, they will take 3 times the amount of damage from all sources, from gems and specials. So what you need in the Stark faction, you need a combination of ice makers, because 5 ice will make someone brittle. So you need ice makers, and then you need damage dealers that take advantage of the ice. So, first of all, we have a character that does a little bit of both. You have, anytime an enemy is defeated, he will inflict ice upon them, so he is an ice maker. And he is a damage dealer, because when someone is brittle, they will take a ton of damage off of him. And he is free in the Battle of the Bastards summon. Now, you can only have 1 Jon Snow, and they're all pretty good. You can only have 1 Jon Snow on the team at once. Red Jon Snow is a great ice maker. When someone crits, they have a chance to inflict 3 ice upon them. You do an AoE, you can have tons of ice going right there. You have King of the North, who has a 5-strike move. Each hit has a chance to inflict ice. You have Catelyn Stark, who has a passive ability that when someone drops below 50% HP, will inflict ice upon all enemies and has the best single target heal in the game. Then you have other ice makers like Brawler. Now, if you're going to use commons like Brawler and you're going to use Archer, they're definitely good ice makers, but remember they're commons, so you have to level them up very high because of the stat differences. Brawler has a fast speed move to inflict ice, and when they're brittle, he will stun them for 3 turns, which is huge. If someone removes a debuff, they remove ice, you can make them brittle again, and he will stun again. You have great damage dealers, like Ghost, who when someone is brittle, they're going to take a ton of damage, and he's fast speed. You do need a lot of stars on Ghost because he can be quite squishy. He also has a passive that many people forget, that every turn he has a 20% chance to inflict the strongest enemy with ice. So you have an ice maker there too passively. Ned Stark deals a ton of damage and taunts, and his leadership is the best for the ice team, as he will have a 35% chance to inflict all enemies with up to 2 ice. You also have Theon, who you can add in the mix, who does a good amount of damage and does execute damage, which increases the amount of damage done based on how low their health is. And when they become brittle, he's going to lose HP and gain stamina and an attack buff. He also works with the Greyjoys, so he is a man of 2 factions. Ice is a fantastic team for free-to-plays. You will get plenty of shards, and you will have lots of options. Let's talk about another team. This is Dr. Death's team. This is the Greyjoys. The Greyjoys. Why are you talking about the Greyjoys, Mark? Well, let me tell you something about the Greyjoys. Greyjoys do a thing called raiding, which will have special effects once a target is raided, and they also take advantage when their health is under a certain percentage. What's really interesting about them is they don't have a healer yet, but if you have 4 members and a healer, healing is 500% more effective. So what you're going to do with the Greyjoys is you are going to use Marjorie. Marjorie has a AoE heal with triage, which becomes more effective the lower their HP is. So the Greyjoys are going to get low on health. They're going to do a bunch of crazy things when they're raiding people. And then Marjorie is going to get 500% more effective heal and heal them back up. It's an amazing combination. Now, what can the raid team do? Well, let me start off with Euron. Euron's special does a good amount of damage and a 50% chance to inflict raid upon the target. But his leadership ability, at 5 stars, each enemy has a 60% chance to begin the battle raided. Now, this is important because anytime an enemy is raided, he has a chance to deceive them for 2 turns, which means they cannot use their skill. So they can't use their skill. If he's below 25% HP, he will steal 25% stamina from the target. So he's going to gain stamina and they're going to lose stamina. It's a great ability. Now, also with the raiding, you're going to have Yara. And Yara, when an enemy is defeated, she's going to have a 50% chance to raid a random enemy. Get that to 6 stars. It's going to be every enemy. And if she successfully raids an enemy, she has a 50% chance to stun the target for 2 turns. So you have a chance, when an enemy is defeated, She can stun the whole team for 2 turns. Euron can deceive, and it just gets better. It just gets better. She's got a fast speed move. When she's below 25% health, she strikes additional time. Good damage on her. While you're doing that, you have the best single target attacker in the game, the Berserker. The Berserker is going to attack for an insane amount of damage. He has a low percent of accuracy, but when someone becomes raided, he gets an accuracy buff. And we're not talking about 2 stars here. This video is about 5, 6, 7-star characters, getting them up and doing raids, because that is essentially what you want to do. His accuracy buff is going to be there. He gets bonus attack buffs for stars. He is an epic, so it's not as strong as a legendary, but this is level 1. 650% attack physical damage when he's below 50% HP. It's going to get stronger when you level it up. Best single target attack in the game. And you have it with the Greyjoys. While they're stunning and deceiving, you will have Berserker take people out. You also have Servant of the Drowned God, who has a very slow AoE, who will attack them, and enemies who are raided have a chance to become stunned for 2 turns. And that stun chance is going to go up the higher you rank the skill up. So you have 2 characters who can stun. You have a character that can deceive. You have super strong attacks. And then the best part is when an ally drops below 50% health, a random enemy has a 50% chance to become raided at 4-star, and at 6-star, the chance to become raided happens a second time when allies drop below 25% health. So this team relies upon doing crazy things, lots of damage, raiding, attacking, going low on health, healers bringing them back up, and just continue the cycle. It's a fantastic team. They are not good for events. They are not good for dragons. But for raids, they are an excellent team, and not that many people have them. So if you want to build off meta, this is the off meta. Let's talk about the 4th team, the Targaryens. Now, the Targaryens have fallen off my rankings of best raid teams just a little bit because of how strong the Greens are. The Greens can wipe them out. The Greens can wipe anyone out. If you have a strong enough green team, congratulations. You can beat anyone. Targaryens work on fire. Fire is a debuff that is a damage over time, and you could stack it up to 5 times. You can have 5 fire on someone, and the more fire you have, the more the damage over time effect it is. And the more Targaryens you have, the more that damage over time does per turn. You have Rhaenyra, who has an AoE that inflicts fire and removes buffs. You have Viserys, who has a fast speed AoE to inflict fire. You have the Maester, who heals, removes debuffs, and when he critically heals, which has a 40% chance, will inflict up to 3 fire on each enemy. So he's a big fire creator right there. Mender is also a cleanser and also heals well. And every time there's a fire, he has a 40% chance to apply an additional fire. So that's nice right there. He's a common, so you do have to get him high. And you're going to take advantage of all this fire with your big damage dealer, Daenerys. Daenerys has a fast speed AoE that does a good amount of damage, and every fire someone has, she does a bonus fire damage. She will do massive damage and wipe out teams with her ability. You just need to get the fire going. Other people like to use Beric for the team. He inflicts up to 2 fire. I've seen when you get him maxed, he could do 3 fire. And what's nice about Beric is he comes back to life when he's defeated. You can also, if you have a beefy Beric, you can use him as the lead, and he can taunt the enemies for 4 turns. And when he's revived, the taunt is renewed. So you could save your guys, keep creating fire, and hold the fort down. He is available in the purple summons, and also with Thoros, he is available in the green summons as well. I've seen people use Stannis with the fire teams as he does fire damage, and he also removes debuffs when an enemy is defeated. He destroys power-ups or gems when an enemy is defeated as well. I've seen people use Melisandre with the fire team as she'll reduce fire resistance and does fire damage. And I've seen Thoros being used too. So the fire team is great too. So we're down to the last team. This is my team. This is the Night's Watch. Night's Watch. They are reliant on shields. And when you have 3 members, your shields are 5% stronger. This is the infamous shield team. Now, you have these 3. You don't have to use Craster if you don't want to, but he adds a lot to the table because he will attack. He will give a shield and then attack based on his HP pool to a random enemy. It's a normal speed move, so you're going to get it off quite a bit. And you're going to get a lot of shields on him, so that should raise the HP pool. It is his health plus shields. So he's going to have that going in his favor. Alistair has the best shield in the game. Very fast speed, strongest shield, very good. Sam is your cleanser and healer. He has an AoE shield ability, removes debuffs, and allies who are shielded, he has a 30% chance to remove a debuff and heal them for 5% of his attack. Small heals, but heals. Matters. This is going to be your main guy in the shield team, Peter Baelish. Peter Baelish is going to be your lead. He is going to create a 14% attack shield every single turn as long as he's shielded. He's going to steal stamina, and then he's going to have his move that's going to deal a huge amount of damage if he is healthy. And then when an enemy is defeated, he's going to gain an attack shield and debuff enemies for minus 20% attack for 4 turns. Super solid. And then you're going to finish it off with Brienne. Brienne is going to have the ability that when an ally is attacked who has a shield, she's going to strike them for her defense ability, a percentage, and then she's going to break gems. At my level, she will break 3 gems, 75% chance to break 3 gems. If someone gets hit with an AoE, that board is blowing up. It's going to create cascades. It's going to create more stamina. And even though Baelish is stealing stamina, you will be able to get moves off. These are your viable factions in the game. I am leaving off the Boltons because I do not feel like they are as consistent as possible because they do not do that much attack. They do rely on the opponent doing specials with bleed, but you can easily cripple someone with a super special, and the team is, yes, they'll take damage, but I don't feel like they're potent enough. They might be good for Alliance Wars coming up. I don't like the bleed mechanic. Comment below, let me know what you think. These are the best raid teams. And also, it's time to thank my supporters of the channel. Shout out to you guys. You guys make things possible like giveaways for the free gold road, which we're going to do next month and every single month. I got big plans for the channel. Special thanks to Hillary Goldstein, Ronan Ron Reacts, Jen Hunt, Andy Hazard, Zivitar, Torin McClure, and Don Shen. If you want to become a member of the channel, the link is in the description, and you could be a member and support and help this channel grow, because that is what we want to do. We want to smash gems, have a good time, and entertain and enjoy. So I will talk to you guys in the next video, and take care.